Hi, this is Jeremy Kellett, Director of Recruiting here at Oakley Trucking. I'm your host for this podcast. This is the Oakley Podcast. This is episode 102. On today's episode, I am sitting down with Scott Cowden and Jason Webb, our operation managers here at Oakley Trucking. And we're going to talk about a couple of dedicated jobs that we've got down in South Louisiana. Going to kind of explain what that job is, the customer, what the product's used for, and how our owner-operators play a big role in what's going on in servicing our customer down in South Louisiana. But before we get to those details, we want to do a Oakley update, which is sponsored by Arrow Truck Sales. Keith Wilson at Arrow Truck Sales in Springfield, Missouri is currently offering $1,000 off your first month's payment when you finance with transport funding, or $1,000 off the truck price if you bring your own financing. They're also discounting the cost of an extended warranty by $500. Arrow Truck Sales has been a long-time partner with Oakley Trucking, and that's because they specialize in first-time truck buyers. They don't do any leases. They have the best used trucks money can buy because used trucks is all they do. They don't sell any new trucks. And the biggest reason that Arrow and Oakley are partners is service after the sale. It is very important to us at Oakley that when we refer you to a company, that they are a good company with good people. They do what they say, and they understand our requirements. So give Keith a call at 573-216-6047 for a good used truck, and tell him you heard about it on the Oakley Podcast. So for the Oakley update today, I got two things. One is, of course, the Mid-America Truck Show that is starting tomorrow. This will come out the day before, and it is a big deal. Oakley Trucking's got a huge booth at the Mid-America Truck Show in Louisville, Kentucky. We want everybody to come by and see us. We're over in the West Wing, and we are going to be doing actually a podcast recording stuff there. So you'll have an opportunity if you want to come by and sit down with me and talk to me about something. We can sit down and record it and get you on the Oakley Podcast. May do some Facebook Live. We got a bunch of giveaways we're giving away there, big screen TVs that we're watching, to show you what Oakley does and talk about recruiting with you. So a lot of good things going on at the Mid-America Truck Show, Louisville, Kentucky, the 24th through the 26th. So come see us, please. The other thing I got is I want to recognize a guy that's been with us 14 years. His name is Marvell Grady. He is just a great owner-operator out of Brookhaven, Mississippi. He's done end dumps for a long time, but he's currently pulling a pneumatic tank, which he's done for a while too. He drives a 2015 Peterbilt white truck that he takes good care of because Marvell takes care of everything. And he's just a super guy. I asked his dispatcher what he thought about Marvell. And, of course, Bradley had dispatched him for a long time, but he says he's a hard worker, always good communication from him. He's the type that just goes and gets it done no matter what it is. Has told me many times he knows how important it is to service the customer and make them happy. That is a great attitude coming from Marvell Grady. Marvell, we appreciate you at Oakley Trucking. You are definitely an asset to this company. Okay, guys, so I got Jason and Scott in here with me. You guys been here before. This is old hat to you, doing the old podcast, the Oakley Podcast, getting some information out.
Like riding a bike.
Riding a bike. Information out to our owner-operators so they can stay more in tune with what's going on, but it's a big help that we can get information from operation guys in here that knows what's going on. You guys are dealing with the customers every day. You know what freight we have and what's happening. But something we really have never touched on is the dedicated jobs we have down in South Louisiana that's ran out of our reserve terminal. So I want to talk a little bit about that because I think more people need to know, one, about our reserve terminal that we have going on down there and what all we offer down there, and then what we need, what our needs are as a company down there when it comes to owner-operators and what we can offer an owner-operator too that'll help. So, maybe first let's start Webb on what's offered down there at Oakley. What we got a terminal down there in Reserve. What all do we do down there?
Yeah, we've got a terminal in Reserve, Louisiana. It's in between Laplace and Sorrento. It's right off Airline Highway. The address is 191 Transport Drive, and we've had it down there roughly 20 years, 21, 22 years, something like that. And we've got a wash bay down there. I think 3 bays working. We've got a shop that we just
two-bay shop.
Two-bay shop. We had a little damage in the last storm, so we had to do some renovating and some cleaning up and fixing. So it's up and going, two-bay shop. We've got 2 guys that are working in the office up there, Dylan Falgo and Caleb Hotard. They're actually from down there. They both live around Thibodaux, Louisiana. Really sharp,
Homegrown
young guys,
boys.
homegrown. They kind of, we're from Arkansas, and we kind of talk a certain way, and guys down there in Louisiana, they all kind of talk a certain way. So,
I know they seem sharp. They came up
Yeah.
here and visited with us for a week and talked about it. And then you guys went down there and hung out. So those guys are running that terminal down there along with Wade that's in the shop.
Yeah, Wade Thompson's
Thompson.
in charge of the shop down there, and he's got 4 or 5 guys that are working with him in the shop. And they're real good. Know a lot about the trailers, ins and outs, and do a good job down there.
We put a lot of money into that facility down there. Over the years, it's a sharp, clean, good-looking facility, and do all kinds of washes, do all kinds of outside washes that come in there constantly every day. I get that. I don't know if y'all get that wash count every day at the end of the next morning shows. Quite a few trucks come through there, so they do a good job with that. And in the wash bay, real quick, or not in the wash bay, but in the shop. So Oakley owner-operators can go down there and get stuff done. And I know me and Toby covered this back when we did a episode on all the things that they do, so you can go back and listen to that. But we don't get into putting on wet kits and that kind of stuff, but we do inspections,
any
tarps, tires.
Maintenance on the trailer, greasing the trailer, tires. Those guys can do,
So if they're closer to Louisiana, you can run in there and get that stuff done
bet.
instead of having to get back to North Little Rock.
Absolutely.
Is the gist of it. And those 2 guys that are running that terminal now down there, they've been with us a little over a year.
Yeah, I think Dylan's been here longer. I think he's been here probably a year and a half.
Okay.
And then Caleb's been here probably coming up on a year.
Mm-hmm. Year in August.
A lot of potential for that place down there, isn't it, Cowden?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like Jason said, these 2 young guys we've got down there are very sharp, and they're learning the ropes. We're trying to spend some time down there and get them.
How many trucks they running?
I think over on Oxbow we're running right at 11, and on Rain we're at 13 right now. So we are looking to add a few trucks on both of those jobs.
So explain Oxbow and Rain. People that are listening that they don't know what that means.
Yeah, so Oxbow and Rain are 2 companies that they're down there, and they're calcining coke. And calcining is a real fancy word for cooking coke. And so what it is, these refineries down there, a lot of it comes out of the Shell refinery. They bring in this raw coke, which is a byproduct for these refineries, and these companies, Oxbow and Rain, cook this coke, and then they sell it to their customer. And they use it for making steel. They use it to generate heat in some applications. There's a few different things they use this stuff for.
So Oxbow is one company.
Yes.
Rain is another company, but they do the same thing?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So Oxbow is in Baton Rouge, and it's like Jason was saying, they bring in, we call it green coke in the industry. That's what it's known for. It is the raw material. It comes into Watco terminals right there in Baton Rouge, right down the road from Oxbow. So the green coke comes in. They offload it off of barges into our trucks. We truck it over to Oxbow, and there, like Jason was saying, they basically cook this material and it dries it out, and then they turn around and sell it. We put it back on our trucks at Oxbow and Baton Rouge and truck it back to Watco, and it goes back onto barges and goes outbound from there. And then Rain, totally different customer. It's down in Norco, Louisiana. They get most of their green coke out of the Shell refinery right there in Norco. And they're doing basically the same thing, except they're running from Norco, Louisiana to Gramercy, Louisiana, or Norco, Louisiana to Chalmette, Louisiana. So it's they do the same thing, probably have a lot of the same customers, but it is two totally different jobs.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So down the rain job down in Norco, that goes a little bit farther than as
if
far
they're going
as
to Chalmette.
If they're going
yes.
to Chalmette.
Yeah.
Hey, one other thing we forgot to mention was the Craig Thibodeau.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Craig came aboard with us when we got the contract at Rain. I guess it's going on 5 years now, and he was working for the company prior to us getting the contract, and then we hired Craig. Great guy. He's been a great asset. Helped us a lot, as far as the local work goes down there and knowing people. And as a matter of fact, Dylan and Caleb came from somebody that Craig knew.
Okay.
He referred them to us, and that's where those two guys came from. So
But Craig doesn't work in the office.
No, Craig works over at Norco,
Okay.
at the Shell refinery.
But he works for Oakley.
He works
Yes.
for Oakley. Yep.
It's kind of our eyes and ears there. If something's going on, if the Norco has a need, they go to Craig, and then Craig, relays that to us, and he's just really in tune with what they've
Day
got
to
going
day,
on. Oh yeah,
what their needs are day to day,
you bet.
which he relays to Caleb and
Yes,
Dylan, and then they adjust accordingly.
yes.
Okay. Did we ever say how many trucks is down there?
We
get
have
to that?
got 11. Yeah, we've got 11 on Oxbow right now and 13 on Rain.
Yeah.
And we've got a few in the line, coming. So we're looking to bump those numbers up by about 2 or 3 on each job, and I think that would put us right there at the right spot.
Yeah, we'd like to be running about 16 out of the Baton Rouge deal, Oxbow, and then about 15 for Rain. We feel like that'd be a good number. And stuff's always changing. Guys are, moving and wanting to go on the road, or, all sorts of things. So there's
Lots of moving
guys
parts.
coming in, guys coming out. So
Well, the problem now is you're having to fill those gaps with
Right.
outside trucks.
Mm-hmm.
What does outside trucks need to know if we're having to pull them out to come in and fill in a day or two on this job? What do they need to know? Because I can just imagine a guy that's never been there before, and he's being dispatched down there. We need you to help out a couple days and run this coke. What does he need to expect, and what do we expect from him on doing that job down there until we get it full?
yeah. Well, number one, we're not asking them to move down there. We're just looking for some help for a couple of days, and we've got some guys that have been really willing to come in and work a few days at a time or work a week at a time, and it's been a big help. It's got us where we are, where we've been able to get this almost filled up and get a higher rate from our customers to pay our owner-operators more. So, those guys, as much as the guys that are down there every day, have played a huge role in helping us, getting us where we are. So, the main thing they need to know is when they get down there, your truck's going to get dirty and your trailer's going to get dirty. You're hauling black coke all day long in and out of a refinery, going to a calcining facility, and it's a dirty job, and on the Oxbow end, you pull out of the Watco terminal going to the Oxbow terminal, and you're pulling out on Airline Highway, which anybody who has been down there, it's 2 lanes each way, wide open, all day long traffic. So, it takes a lot of paying attention, takes a lot of patience. When you turn off of Airline Highway onto Canal Road or Brooklawn Drive, it's a rough, there's railroad tracks, and we've been fighting this battle since we started. You cross several sets of railroad tracks, and it's rough. It's constantly, they've tried to temporarily fix it, and it's just been an ongoing battle. The good news is we finally made some headway, and we're hoping starting as early as this weekend, something's going to get done. But it's just part of the thing. We've been fighting it for a while, and it's just a rough road.
So the roads are a little rough.
Yeah.
You got some black coke you're dealing with.
Yeah.
But you're coming into place where you've got a bunch of regulars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's a good thing about this deal for a guy that's coming in that doesn't know. We try to match them up with somebody, kind of like we do coming out of orientation. We try to match you with somebody to help you along if you need some help. We've got some really sharp guys down there that take care of business. And, we try to match them with them, and we give them a heads up that, hey, we've got some over-the-road guys coming over that aren't in here every day. Help them out. And our guys have been real willing to help them as far as scaling in and scaling out and knowing what to do and how to load the trailer.
Is this a end dump or a hopper operation contract?
Yes. It's both. So there's one part on both ends, but I'll start at Oxbow. So on the Oxbow end, we're hauling green coke off a barge to Oxbow, and that's on an end dump. And then we're hauling the calcine, the cooked coke, from Oxbow to white coke, putting it on a barge. And that's going simultaneously all day long. And that's on a hopper. So you got end dumps going one way and hoppers going the other way.
Gotcha.
All day long, from about 6:30 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon.
And the hoppers they're rigged up. I know we had some special equipment.
Yeah.
For those guys too. We put an extra axle.
Yep, they're triaxle hoppers. They've got vibrators on them
Right.
to help get the coke out. 'Cause sometimes that they can have issues getting it out. So
Got
that's where the
automatic remote.
Yep, they've got automatic doors.
Mm-hmm. That open and close.
Yes.
What about the tarps? You got to roll the tarps still. Those
They're
are
automatic.
Yeah,
They're automatic
automatic.
tarps too. Okay.
Yeah.
So a guy he gets used to it. He can be pretty efficient because you're doing how many of those loads in a day?
12 to 18 is the most I've ever seen. Maybe
Yeah.
19.
Really?
A lot of loads. Yeah.
On the green coke, 12 is probably a good average number, and then with the hoppers on the calcine, probably about 10, 11 loads.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is all the Oxbow that's happening
Yeah.
in Baton Rouge, right there around the Highway 61. Or is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah,
Highway
US
61.
Highway 61. I would say the main thing, like Jason was saying, is getting with one of our guys that does it every day. When the over-the-road trucks get dispatched, they call into our reserve terminal and get instructions from Dylan or Caleb. And it sounds like a pretty simple job. There's really a whole lot of things that a guy needs to know going into it. And we've got a big old list of dispatch procedure for this job, and I really don't have time or think we need to go over all the details on it. But the main thing is pay attention to the details.
Yeah.
Number one thing is be there on time to start, and we're talking about Oxbow or Rain. It's real big. The guys have to be there on time to start the job. And
What time is that? Does that change?
over at Oxbow, the trucks have to be there at 6:30 in the morning. So really, the guy needs to show up at 6, and because more than likely he's going to be hooking up to an Oxbow trailer, so he's going to have to dolly his trailer down. This is over the road, guys, and hook up to an Oxbow trailer. He'll have to go around do his pre-trip inspection. At that time, our trainer will show him how the automatic doors work, how the automatic tarp works, give him all the details of what the job is, and that takes some time. So if you show up at 6:30, you're late.
Yeah.
So the trucks have to be ready to go to work at 6:30, and that's one of the biggest issues I think we've had. Is that right, Jason?
Yeah.
As far as over the road trucks going in.
Well, you got to, you ask the guy to come in over the road, and come down here and help us on this job, and they may have started 3 o'clock in the morning, and didn't have this on their mind that, hey, I've got to be down here to do this job because we haven't told them, So, a lot of times, we're fighting that, and that's where the communication comes back in, letting your dispatch know what you can do and when you can be there so we can, be on time to start.
Well, the goal is to have regulars down there.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Fill it up, have regulars. And, we had this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We had a waiting list for these two jobs, the Oxbow job and the Rain job. We had a waiting list down there for those. to do. And then everything that's happened the last 2 years has changed that up to where now we're constantly advertising, trying to get more guys down there, which we're gradually succeeding.
Yeah.
It's just a hard time to find truck drivers right now, but we're getting that, and this is a good job to be on, especially now with you guys really working hard at getting the rates increase that we've done, contracts going on, and we've had this for 5 years, and who knows how long we'll have it, but I'd say a long time because we've invested a whole lot into this place.
Right.
We have.
Yeah, we got a raise on the rain job. I can't remember exactly what the percentage was, but it was a pretty good raise for the drivers. They were all very happy with that. And starting April 1st on Oxbow, we've got a really good raise on that, and it's going to help a lot.
Yeah.
Guys are going to – they were already making good money. The guys that are down there working, it's like Jason said, the normal schedule is 4 on, 2 off, like you had mentioned earlier, but the opportunity to work 5 on or 6 on, if a guy really wants to make good money, the opportunity is there.
You bet.
This job works 365 days a year, both of them.
It never stops.
Never stops. And we move a bunch of coke just on the Oxbow alone. And I think I'm jumping ahead, but
What about the rain? We we talked about the Oxbow, but is the rain the same way as far as how many loads they get in a day and starting time, or is that a little bit different?
It actually starts a little earlier. Depending on if they're going to Gramercy, if they're going to Chalmette, what they're doing. Some of those guys start as early as 3:30, 4 in the morning. And depending on where they go, they don't get quite as many loads. If they're going to Gramercy, I think 5 loads a day is about what they're doing. So they're not making as many loads. The pay is and the rate is adjusted for that.
Is that all on end dumps, the rain job?
That's both.
That's both too.
dumps and hoppers.
Okay.
And the key thing there, Jason and Jeremy, on the rain job, if you have trucks that show up late, it's such a short haul. So you say if you had 5 or 6 trucks running it, if you've got guys that come in late, well, the first guys that were there on time are already going to have their load delivered, and they're going to be coming back. And if you've got guys that are showing up late, it bottlenecks everybody up. Yeah. So very important that the guys are there on time to start on time. That way it works a lot smoother. A lot of times you don't have trucks backing up on each other, and that's definitely a key thing as far as details on the job, I would say is number one.
You bet.
Well, this is kind of where everything's going to is local jobs, be home more, make good money. And this is it. It's just sitting in the –
Yeah. If you live, on this Oxbow deal, if you live around Baton Rouge, this is, I would think, what you're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, the majority of the guys live there. Now, I know we've had a couple guys move in, bring a camper, and set up camp there and do it just because it's a good, dedicated job where they make a lot of money. And I don't know. I would have to look. They probably don't burn as much fuel.
No.
Which is a plus. I don't know if they do or not, but
no, they don't.
I wouldn't think so either.
And both jobs do pay a fuel surcharge.
Yep. A
good fuel surcharge. So if the fuel's going up, their pay's going up. So that's definitely a good thing there. You're not locked in on a rate, and as fuel goes up, you're gonna see the benefits of the fuel surcharge.
These guys, I didn't look at the checks, but ain't they well above $3,000 a week?
Yeah, I would say pretty confident without it.
And I'm talking about net bring home money.
Yeah, after your fuel,
after all your deductions, and that's working.
Yes, sir.
That's probably not killing it. That's not.
That's probably working
4 days.
No, that's probably working 5 days.
Okay,
is pretty safe average.
Right.
I've seen some checks over 4.
Yeah.
In between 4 and 5, and that's like you said. That's probably not working 4 days on. That's probably working 5 or 6, but like I said, the opportunity is there. If you want to make some more money, you definitely can.
You bet.
Because there's more. They can work about as much as they want to legally.
Yeah.
Because they still got to keep the ELDs and log it everything correct too. It's not just because it's a local. It's not exempt from anything. You still got to do it right. So
yeah. So one of the requirements, I don't know if we've hit on this yet. You've got to have it's a hopper and a dump, so you're gonna have a wet kit.
Yeah.
Because there'll be, and we've got it to where, the guys that pull hoppers mostly pull hoppers, and guys that pull dumps for the most part pull dumps. But there's some back and forth there. So you get, we're looking for guys that are going to be able to pull both. And you're getting paid by the ton. So obviously, the lighter the truck, the better.
Oh, we've even got some day cabs down
we've
there.
got some day cabs down there.
And encourage day cabs.
Yeah. If you live there, if you live in that part of the world, day cab would work.
Yeah.
Just as good.
And I probably shouldn't say this, but we've taken a few older trucks down there too.
Yeah.
Some pre-emission trucks to work that job too that we've leased on to just do that. So that's an option too for some guys out there that are interested in that. They need to definitely let us know what kind of truck they got, or if they want to go get a day cab. I mean, it'll work down there. If you live however long, however far away you want to drive or commute, it's just like an everyday job.
Mm-hmm. So we talked about having to have a wet kit. Another deal is if you're going to work down here, you've got to be on your A game all the time. Safety is a big deal down there. Near misses, they're real big on that. And it really goes everywhere, but it's really heightened at both these jobs. That you've got to have all your PPE on all the time. You've got to follow speed limits. And there's not a whole lot of tolerance there. We've had guys that worked down there before that were speeding. They got a warning, and that was it. Next time it happened, they were out. Yeah. We don't want to see that happening. So and it doesn't happen much, but it's real important that you're conscious of that. That you're paying attention. You can't be driving around talking on the phone all day. You've got too much going on. We need guys down there that are locked in and are
there to serve the customer
right.
and do what abide by the rules.
Absolutely.
And do it right. And
yeah.
And great opportunity to make some
You
good
bet.
money, even extra money if they want to. It's because I know a lot of over the road guys, they'd rather run miles and
Yeah.
travel down the road, but this is a great opportunity to make some good money in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days.
And
So-
we were down there a few weeks ago and took a lot of those guys out that work the Oxbow job for us now, and same deal with Rain. We've got a lot of good, dedicated guys that when it's time to work, it's time to work.
Yeah, there is a lot of
they take
good
care
guys
of it,
down there.
and I just the reason we're here and the reason we're getting a higher rate and we've got work is because of what they're doing. It's nothing that we're doing in here. It's those guys have made it happen.
Yeah.
So.
And they're good. Our owner operators are good about spoiling customers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and keeping us in the
Make us look real
make
good.
us look real good. They sure do. But that's what it takes when you get a job like that and you've done it for a long time. And there's guys, you're exactly right, Webb. There's guys down there that have done it for a long time, and they are the backbone of that thing. And we're only just a couple trucks at each place away from being full.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll happen here pretty soon, and we can go back to the way it was 2 years ago. It was a waiting list of, who's on next down there, because
Right.
it's especially with this rate increase and them fixing things down there, making the job a lot better. I think it's going to be really good.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of the best things is it's a great base, a great. I don't know what you call it, nucleus for that reserve terminal
You bet.
to grow on, because you got this now. Well, there's a bunch more of that down there
yeah.
to get. So it's just a matter of us.
Let's get this right, and then
Yep.
what else can we do?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and Dylan and Caleb, they're on board and ready to go. Them guys are chomping at the bit. They're ready to get this right, and then, when we were down there a few weeks ago, we went and visited a few folks trying to get the ball rolling on some other stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to continue to do that. So, but it takes good owner operators to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and we're always on the search for them. But I think that would be a little easier to fill, being that it's a local job and you can be home if you live in that area and make good money. And give a little bit on the truck and even get a day cab. So I mean, there's some definitely we should be able to fill that up pretty quick. I would think so, and that way with the road guys, are not going down there a whole lot too, because that's kind of risky. Even sending somebody in there not knowing what they're doing. It'd be like me going back into dispatch now. I'd mess some stuff up right off the bat.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Good old days. Anything else you guys like to add? I think we covered everything except Cowden was going to cover the Crawfish Bowl.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I think, Jason, you went down last year for it.
Yeah, we had a Crawfish Bowl down there last year and had a pretty good turnout. It's kind of a last-minute deal last year, so we tried to get a little ahead of it this year and get a good turnout, and we're looking forward to it. So
yeah, I believe it's April the 20th.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do it probably. We'll be there at 5, but it'll probably kick off around 6 and go until all the crawfish are gone. I guess Craig Thibodeau is going to be. Do you cook crawfish?
He
Do you boil them, or what do you do? He's the master of the crawfish.
He's
Craig
master chef.
Thibodeau has got it down to a art. He's got a couple of buddies down there, and they've got these tables, just built just for this. And, I mean, it's like a professional setup.
Nice.
It's going to be a good deal.
It's going to be a good deal.
So it's going to be at the terminal?
It'll be at the terminal. We'll set up right there in one of the wash bays, and we'll have a little bit more details as far as time and everything. But
who's invited?
Everybody.
Anybody and everybody. Please give us a call if you're coming, though,
Yeah,
so we make sure we got enough crawfish.
We'll make sure we got enough crawfish. So,
but just one evening after work,
Yeah.
right there
Yep.
at the facility.
Yep.
All of our owner operators are invited. If you're
bet.
coming through, if you're over the road, or if you're local, you're invited. And anybody that's watching this podcast, if you're going to come, just give us a call.
Yeah.
We've been talking to some guys down there that are possibly looking at coming on board with us on one of these jobs. And if you're seeing this, come on over and talk to us.
Yeah.
It'd be a great time to talk to us and talk to some of our guys that are on the jobs. If you're looking at possibly wanting to lease on, it'd be a perfect time to talk to us.
Yeah, and if they are interested, if there is somebody interested in doing it, they can call us. We'll get them in touch with those guys down there. We've had a lot of the guys we've leased on to do that job, either one of those jobs down there, we've had them go ride with them a day.
That's a great idea.
Go ride with the guy a day and see how you like it and check it out.
Lay eyes on it.
Yeah, so you'll know whether it's something that you're going to like doing or not, instead of making all the investment, because you do have to come to North Little Rock, go through orientation, all that kind of stuff, get your wet kit put on, and then get you back down there to do it. But anyway, great job, man. I'm looking forward to the Crawfish Bowl now. You got me hungry. But, I think we covered a lot of good stuff for a lot of our listeners to give some more detail about that job that a lot of people didn't even know we had, and we've had it for years, and also the facility down there at Reserve that we always, are doing business out of, and got a lot of high hopes for it. So hopefully we can continue to grow it and look at the next big thing down there.
There you go.
Sounds good.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate y'all doing this for me and knocking this podcast out and giving more information. And as always, I appreciate all you listeners out there and you guys that watch us every week or listen to us every week while you're driving down the road. We want you to know we appreciate all Oakley owner-operators and all truck drivers in general. Be sure to tune into the next one. It's every Wednesday. We come out with a new one. And let us know if you got some things you want to hear, you want us to talk about, you got questions, you can always send them to me. Call up here at the office and talk to me. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week.